Story time!
It was a wild, stormy night, and Freddie was asleep in his cot. He was totally oblivious to the storm, as he was in a deep sleep. He was dreaming about corn on the cob being his favourite. He dreamt that he had found a machine that granted wishes, a bit like the one in the film Big, but that machine was full of corn on the cob stuffed toys. All you had to do was grab a toy and you could make a wish. He put his pound in, and with the help of his mum and his gramps, he managed not to only grab a toy, but he grabbed the jackpot size. In the machine up for grabs were different sized toys: tiny, small, medium, large, and jackpot. Everyone cheered. The toy dropped into the collection box, and Freddie grabbed it. Now to make his wish. He didn't have to think about it. He knew exactly what he wanted. Freddie's passion for corn on the cob was so big he wanted to become a superhero. Corn Man. He wanted to fly and save people from danger by exploding corn kernels that would fly off his body and kill the bad guys. Off he went to bed with his teddy. He slept soundly until 3:39 a.m. Something had woken him up, but he didn't know what. He tried to sleep again, but his feeling grew stronger and stronger. Before he knew what was happening, Freddie was flying. Yes, flying out of his cot, and he was wearing a corn on the cob costume. He really was Corn Man. He had no idea where he was going, but his body took him. He heard a cat screaming. He looked down and saw a cat being ganged up on by a pack of street dogs. "Oh, no, you don't!" shouted Freddie. He got closer and closer, and then let off a load of corn kernels. They flew at the dogs, and the dogs ran for cover. He grabbed the cat and sat it in the garden down the road. The cat looked thankful, but very confused. Freddie said goodbye, and whoosh! He was off again. This time, a baby had dropped its dummy out of its cot, but its parents were sleep training him, so they left him to cry. "Corn Man to the rescue!" shouted Freddie. He sneaked in and gave the baby his dummy. He sang it a lullaby and he left. Wow, this being a superhero was great. He went back to bed and slept till his mum came to get him up for breakfast. He didn't give anything away. It was his secret. Freddie was a superhero most nights. He loved it until one night. While he was out saving the world, his mum had got up to go to the toilet, and she went to check on him and screamed so loud she could have woken the dead. Where was Freddie? Had someone come in and taken him? She was worried sick. Freddie heard the screaming, and with his superhero hearing, he flew straight home. He could see his mum through the walls with his superhero vision. He felt terrible and wished he had told his mum. His mum left his room to go get her phone and ring the police. This was his chance to fly back in and hide. He hid in the wardrobe. He decided he'd better make a noise, so he banged and started to cry. His mum came running through. Her heart was beating out of his chest. Where was he, and how had he got in there? She was so relieved she grabbed him and squeezed him hard. Freddie told his mum all about it, but she just laughed. So he showed her. She was gobsmacked. Suddenly there was a big crash of thunder and a huge flash of lightning. Freddie stopped flying and fell into his cot. Next thing Freddie knew, his mum was waking him up and saying that the storm last night had been really bad. Freddie tried to fly, but he couldn't, and his mum looked at him and laughed. "What on earth are you doing?" "I'm flying, or trying to. Remember, I'm Corn Man." His mum laughed more and took him down for breakfast. It had all been a dream. Freddie hadn't really turned into Corn Man. Or had he?